What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor, man. Yeah.
Good old humor,
Wow.
man.
It's been a long time since we've done it.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
to
Even
dust off.
prepping for this podcast.
Yeah, I had to literally
I was like,
dust off my microphone, man. Yeah.
I was like, where do I plug in the camera? And like, oh shit, I need to record 48 hertz or 44.1 hertz.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while. I
It's
think
been-
the last podcast was
when?
uploaded September 6th.
6th, really? Wow.
Yeah, when I was abroad. Oh no, September 9th or
9th, I
around
think.
there,
Yeah,
around there.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
were
9th.
on your trip around the world and everything, right?
Yeah, correct.
But yeah, it's
yeah.
been a
So
while,
we've been
man.
away. Yeah, September 9th.
Yeah.
And I mean, there is a reason why. I think we posted on Instagram that we are back.
Yeah.
There was some context on Reddit, but yeah, Terrence, over to you lah.
No, I think you had there was a good period you were away also, right?
Yeah.
And definitely we were thinking of recording a few episodes then lah. But I think anyone who follows our Reddit or our social media, they know that something unfortunate, very unfortunate happened in my family in the past few weeks. I have not made a secret of it, but I've been looking forward to the birth of my second child, supposedly this month, right? But there were complications, and the child, his name is Emery. He came very early, sometime in early September, which was quite a number of weeks premature. He couldn't wait to see the world, I guess, but he also came with a lot of complications that always come when a child comes early. And his life on earth lasted for a full glorious 3 days, and after that he passed. As you would expect, it was a very tumultuous time for myself and my family. And since then, we've been it was tough, it's been tough, and we've just been spending time picking up pieces and just trying to, I wouldn't say get over it, but really in the process of processing the grief that comes with an unfortunate situation like that lah. I think a lot of people, for the first few weeks we were away, people were wondering, how come, they were like, oh, okay, they're taking a break. And probably after a while, people started wondering, how come this break seems to be really long? Because it's probably the longest break we've taken from podcasting forever, right? Yeah. So have just been taking the time to heal, to spend time with family, to focus on priorities. And I think I think one of the reasons why we're back here today is because of you guys. I think I won't deny that. Yeah, it was at a certain point during this past month, I was just thinking like, how could I possibly come back and do this comedy podcast when I am, when I'm feeling the way I'm feeling? Like, doesn't it feel inauthentic that we're trying to talk about comedy and talk about these topics in a funny way when I'm not feeling like there's anything funny in the world, right? So I think you and I, we had made a decision to, we just take a pause on everything for a while, right? But one of the funny things is that when everything, when shit hit the fan and everything happened, one of the few places that I really, looked for comfort was actually podcasts. I went on a podcast binge talking about parental grief and getting over grief and things like that. And I found that really helped me a lot. It helped me through quite a few dark days in the past few weeks. And then when I started receiving messages from you guys, from listeners and all who some of them even intimated that they had been through similar experiences. and they understood, they could empathize how I was feeling, and there were a lot of nice messages, right? You saw on Reddit as well, where people were saying, they're standing by, and they're standing by us, and because it's all like a family. So I felt like, yeah, there's something about needing to come back to the community that might actually help me in my process of recovering from the grief, lah. So that's why I felt. I told Harish, I think as much as it's a difficult time, I think this is something that would be good for myself as well, and to just get started, to not say to get past things, but to live with the reality of what things are, lah, and try to see the silver lining behind everything, lah. Yeah, so that's where we are.
Yeah, and I mean, I commend your strength, man. To come back and to talk for 1 hour, and I think I speak on behalf of all the listeners to know that to say that it's good to hear your voice again.
Yeah. I think it took a while. Yeah, it definitely wouldn't I wouldn't downplay the emotional and toll that this event has taken, and how difficult it is to just reach out and talk to people again, even socially, I maybe if I've only spoken to maybe like 2 people about how in this whole last month. I've only spoken to 2 friends, one including yourself, lah. I've only spoken to 2 friends about this, everything that's happening in my head now. But yeah, it's I think the biggest lesson is that that when you look at people outside on the street, and you don't know what kind of emotional burdens or emotional tolls they're carrying on them as well. So in essence, it's always good to be kinder. Yeah, that's one big takeaway from this whole thing. But yes,
be kind.
Yeah. But I mean that.
Be kind, man.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, it doesn't. Whatever happened to me, but doesn't stop me from, from consuming the news and thinking about, oh, this will make a great topic for Yalla Butt and everything, lah. Which is why we're like, okay, let's just jump back into what we were always doing, and pick it up from there.
Sweet, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do have 2 topics to talk about, and I guess we can jump straight into it, lah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. All right. So the first topic.
Yes.
I guess it's very heartening news, lah. It's very heartening news. It's long overdue.
Yes.
Especially because I was aware of it when I used to work there.
Yeah.
And that is that SIA has announced that pregnant cabin crew will now be retained after giving birth and can apply for ground jobs. Yeah.
But this is the funny thing that you said that you are aware of it, lah, because you worked there for a number of years, lah, right? SIA.
From 2009 to 2011, and then I went to Scoot for 3 years, so still in aviation, lah.
Yeah. So same parent company and all that, right? But actually,
Yes.
I the funny thing is I never knew of this rule about maternity, lah. Was it really like widespread knowledge that everyone knew about this rule already, or what?
Within the company, I think it was kind of like a given. And I remember my time when I was there, 2010 to 2011, the younger executives, the newer grads were like, this is a fucking ridiculous rule. But also because I think it was less about these rules, but maybe just some other cultural aspects of how the Singapore girl was portrayed, Because when we just entered, we had just graduated, no one's really thinking about like having kids.
Yeah.
So, the thought of like maternity and parental benefits all not at the forefront.
Yeah.
But I remember hearing about this and I was like, that's weird.
Wait, sorry, can you just take a step back? Like maybe we go into more specifics about what
the details.
What the rule is, right? In layman, can you explain to a layman what the general rule is?
Okay, so previously the rule was that back then, SIA required its female flight attendants to quit flying after the first trimester of pregnancy.
That means after 3 months after you discover you're pregnant, right? Essentially, 3 months after inception, yeah.
Correct. And I think you have to quit flying lah. So the policy back then was you can apply for ground jobs, but it was very few and far between.
That means you
So
couldn't
most of the time
you couldn't just transfer from being a air stewardess to something else on the ground lah.
Yeah. Even when I was there, if I recall, it was like, oh, this person got a ground job. That's cool because it wasn't the norm.
Yeah.
It was the anomaly.
I see.
So like according to so this was first raised in 2010 by Aware.
Yeah.
Like raised on the national level by 2010.
Yeah.
And SIA back then they responded saying that they actually had a returning mother scheme which allows female crew to rejoin Singapore Airlines in their former capacity, provided they meet the criteria for them to carry out their duties. And that it was a success and it was formulated in consultation with staff and unions. But I think it's safe to understand that getting a new vocation or a new job in your previous company is a lot harder than just coming back from extended leave.
Yeah. Wait, so right. Sorry, just to go back again to that idea. So after the first trimester, you said they're made to quit flying, meaning they're made to quit their jobs, essentially. Is it? Are they based on no pay leave or something, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, so what it says is that previously, so I was digital marketing, so totally different department. Sure. So my knowledge about this is also based on what is in the news and all right now. Yeah. It was cabin crew would be placed on unpaid leave upon declaring they are pregnant, and once they submit the birth certificate, were required to leave the company.
So basically, you go after your first trimester. You declare that you're pregnant, then you have to stop flying, means you're placed on no pay leave all the way until you get pregnant, until you give birth, right? Then when you give birth, it's do you get 4 months of maternity leave?
No, because like what it says, okay, so this is an article that was back in 2022.
Okay.
It said they were required to leave the company once they submit the child's birth certificate.
It means the moment the baby is born. There's no maternity leave. Or once the baby is born, they have to leave.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That actually sounds really, in this day and age, sounds really discriminatory, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, back in 2010, there was an official response by SIA saying that the nature of the job is multifaceted and there's a physical aspect to it. They don't want to compromise pregnant women. And then they also said cabin crew are all on 5-year term contracts rather than permanent terms. So the employment ceases after the first trimester. They can apply for a ground posting.
Yeah.
And then after that, when the birth certificate is produced, they have to leave. So now it sounds fucking ridiculous. And even reading the title now, right? SIA cabin crew will be retained after giving birth. In 2022, it sounds like, really? Yeah. This is new.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was so shocked. I was like, you mean those urban legends and everything about how cutthroat air stewardess, the whole recruitment process was. You mean they're real? You know the urban legend about that to sign up to audition to be an air stewardess, you have to be in a bikini or something like that, right? Is that real? Is that real? Or is it really just an urban legend?
I mean, I don't know. I think that was an urban legend.
Okay.
I never investigated or
you weren't in the room lah. You weren't in the room when those auditions.
I wasn't in the room. I wasn't in the room. Nah, I wasn't in the room.
But I mean, but the the idea of quit flying after your first trimester, that is kind of there is a safety element to that as well, right?
Yeah, correct.
Not just the complications that may come from a pregnant woman flying, but also just the fact that the air stewardess's job is a very physical job, and you need to carry stuff, you need to be on your feet for many hours. That could be really tough for a pregnant lady, So in some sense, is there any justification when SIA says they're trying to protect the cabin crew?
Yeah, so like I think once you're pregnant, your first trimester, what is the general advice for pregnant women to fly? Is it last trimester you don't fly? As a passenger.
Yeah. I think first trimester is always it's you just need to be a bit careful. Usually second trimester is a bit safer to. No, I won't use the word safe, but second trimester they say, okay, if you're going to travel travel in your second trimester, like when you're still a little bit more mobile, and things aren't as precarious. Third trimester is where it gets like the physical side of things gets a bit more dangerous already, lah. Yeah.
I see. So yeah, so I think there is an aspect of not flying, right? After first trimester.
Yep.
Because you, as a cabin crew, as much as passengers are supposed to put their own bags in the overhead cabins and all, some fuckers, they just don't. They just expect the stewardess or to do it.
Yeah.
So there is that aspect. And I think but where it gets weird is like the fact that they have to leave or they are put on unpaid leave. So, but that's where it also, you can kind of understand the difficulty, right? If cabin crew gets pregnant, to guarantee them assignment to a ground job is also hard, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, but the fact that they have to leave after giving birth, that felt weird, lah.
Yeah.
Because they can't even enjoy maternity leave.
Yeah. And the other side of it is also, in the, like, all those, let's say you're a cabin crew for like contracted 5 years, right? So generally you would expect like every cabin crew to have a few years of experience already, lah. And to just have to, purely from you just getting pregnant and all that, then all those years of training and all that are negated, and you just basically thrown back out into the labor market. It feels like kind of a waste in today's labor crunch that we're facing, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like, just looking at a high level sweep of other airlines, I mean, even the US airlines, I think apparently you can fly up to like the 31st week of pregnancy provided you have doctor's approval.
I see.
So the weird thing about Singapore Airlines, which I also noticed when I was working there, is that in Singapore you grow up with the concept that all stewardesses look like the Singapore girl.
Yeah.
Right, all of them are young. But then when you go out of Singapore, I think when you first start traveling or like you go to the US or Europe, you're like, oh, I see. Like the stewardesses here are a lot, like there's a lot more range in the demographic, lah.
Yeah.
Right. You see older women, you see aunties.
Yeah.
Very sweet aunties.
Yeah.
But then you have in your mind, oh, I thought all stewardesses look like the SIA girl.
And they're all below a certain age and everything, right? But that's the funny thing in Singapore. There's almost like this
glorification.
I was going to use a much nicer word, the fetishization of like the...
That's a nicer word. That's a nicer word.
It's not a nicer word. But it's almost like the Singapore girl is almost like a... It's almost like a fetish. It's almost like a Halloween costume that people wear. I'm going to dress up as as a stewardess and all that. And then like, that means, you want to be slim, pretty, young, and things like that. Whereas like, when you travel any other airline, usually you get a more diverse mix of individuals, which is like, okay, then you realize, it is a job, it is a career for people. But in everything we're seeing here with these policies that SIA has, it almost sounds like it's only something that if you're young and single and unmarried and not planning to have kids, then it's something that you can do. If not, you're not welcome. You're not welcome to apply for this career at all, which is crazy, right?
Yeah, it's like the moment you cannot fit your uniform, sorry, you're out.
Yeah.
We don't provide re-alterations of uniform. We only base it on your measurements when you first come in.
Yeah.
After you cannot fit, fuck off.
Yeah. And I think people raised the point that I think Aware also raised the point that even with all these benefits, maternity leave and being able to fly again after your maternity leave, it still takes a good amount of time for mothers, even young mothers, to lose the baby fat, so to speak, the fat that comes with pregnancy and all that, right? And to get back into shape, to be able to fit into the, what was it called? Kabaya, right? The SQ Kabaya.
Yeah.
Because it's a very specific uniform and a silhouette that I think they're going for. So how do they, I think the estimate is given, a mother needs about 6 to 12 months to actively lose that weight, right? And that weight and then be able to fit in that. So how does that work? Like, do they have to, will they be, not allowed to fly if they can't fit back into their old uniform or what? That's the thing. I think SQ responded saying that they have the same grooming standards for everyone.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
correct.
It
But
sounds like sorry, that was what?
that was 2010 lah.
Oh, yeah,
That was
like
2010.
correct. But it still
2010,
sounds
yeah.
like they're talking about like like animals in a grooming like a pet shop or something, like grooming standards, like you need to be groomed like a poodle in order to fly with SQ.
Okay, so here's the opposing thought, right? If SIA does have this requirement that just for whatever reason they want all their stewardesses to be slim
Yeah.
and lean and fit, is that wrong or not?
Wow, that's a great question. Recently, like
perfect conversation for two dudes.
Yeah, two dudes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Recently, yeah, and I mean this is 2022 lah, and we live in an age where when we say something like Victoria's Secret model, people your age and mine, we have a certain image of what a Victoria's Secret model looks like, the angel lah, right? Runway, Adam Levine, and all that kind of stuff lah, right? But yeah, we're in an age where the Victoria's Secret advertisement that pops up on my Facebook feed now, it's plus size models. It's stuff that I would fit into more likely, So it's a very different age that we're in, where I think all sorts of body shapes and sizes are being celebrated, rather than made fun of or ridiculed like they were before, lah. So I mean, in this climate, do we need all the stewardesses to be young and slim? And I don't even use the word beautiful, because I think the modern concept of beauty is not just about being slim already, right? At least in the media. So maybe it's a good thing for the image that they have they appreciate much more diverse types of beauty, right? And it will actually help them reach out to a younger clientele as well.
But then okay, so you see, like let's say you want to you go to all those exhibitions, and those salespeople, those like car models, or like the people who are just standing next to the cars and all.
Yeah.
They tend to be younger, maybe more well groomed, slimmer, more physically fit. So if that's the kind of stewards and stewardesses you want, is it because it is not explicit? Like there's no airline that says, okay, we only want hot people on our plane. You're not hot? Sorry. Is it the issue that they make it seem inclusive, but then at the back of your mind there's this filter, because you don't see people who don't fit that filter amongst the crew?
I mean,
because let's say there was an airline. Let's say there was an airline say, okay, we only want hot people for our crew. They're not doing anything wrong, right? They're like a modeling agency, lah.
They're not,
right?
Yeah. But remember that you could end up like Abercrombie and Fitch, essentially.
Yeah.
I think Abercrombie and Fitch was, if there's a documentary on Netflix. I can't remember the name, but it's a pretty good documentary. White Hot. I think it was called White Hot. And essentially, the Abercrombie and Fitch had this policy of hiring, salespeople who, because they were front of the desk and everything, right? They had to face customers, so they would usually only hire like what they would consider hot people, lah. But that's where it got started to get dicey. Like, what was their definition of a hot person, lah? Was it a certain look? Was it a certain hair color? Was it a certain skin color? Then that starts to bleed into civil lawsuits and discrimination laws and everything, right? So that's where you'd rather that, if there was such a requirement, that you rather that they codify it and put it in black and white, so that there's no there's much less ambiguity about it, right? Yeah, like, okay, there's a certain weight, there's a certain size, there's a certain look that we need for our air stewards and air stewardesses. Because I think you can't get away from the fact that at the end of the day, like, the airline's a very tight, in the airplane is a very tight space. And, can you imagine if the air steward or air stewardesses aren't able to navigate the space very easily? Whether it's because, the size or just the physical strength, like not being able to help people lift their bags or lift their chairs forward, push their chairs forward and things like that. That's where it's tricky, right? The requirement for some some physicality in your work and some physicality in being able to deal with some physicality in your work is there lah. So I think they have to be a bit more explicit about it in this day and age. If not, they could go down that road of being cancelled lah, right? As a business, which is the last thing you want. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I think the core one big reason is also because the nature of the work, right? Like, okay, if you're because I was just thinking, let's say you start a modeling agency, you're fucking successful, and then you're like, you know what? I want to start an airline using these models.
Yeah,
right. I mean, that won't be wrong, right? Because there's that branding where, okay, maybe you want to say your airline. If you want to see hot people, come to our airline. So I don't know. Would that cause issues? But I think because that one starts with aesthetics first, because no one discriminates against modeling agencies, right?
Yeah.
You won't get anyone just applying to a modeling agency.
Yeah.
Because the core of the work is dependent on people looking a certain way. I think for cabin crew, it really doesn't matter. You can be the fucking good cabin crew, but you might not be the most pleasant looking.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing, the nature of the job. And the second thing is like, even when you think about like the equality at the workplace, this sort of rule, like there's nothing for the guys, you know. If you're a dad, you can keep flying until your day of birth, the day of birth of your kid.
Yeah.
After that, I like from what I found, paternity leave doesn't apply to cabin crew.
Oh,
but
see.
Even if you like then because cabin crew, I think every month you will get your schedule of flights, right?
Correct.
And or at least there was some leeway for scheduling your flights a certain way, and you can do internal swaps and all that lah.
Yeah.
But this one just feels like, wow, it is damn fucking unequal.
Yeah.
And that's why even when I was at SIA, I was like, wow, this SIA girl, it's almost like you know, you have every company, you got your logo, your you know, corporate colors and all that.
Right.
SIA girl felt like an asset, you know, like the brand asset.
Yeah.
Here's an SIA girl for your shoot.
Yeah.
Oh, you need a photo shoot? Here's another SIA girl.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, they're like faceless people.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what it seems.
Yeah.
And that was not good.
Yeah.
So
I think
the
the other aspect was the veil of secrecy around the process, right, of selecting SIA SQ Singapore girls, right? Like I said, you know, the urban legend of the bikini and everything. Those things plus remember I think I told you once, I told the Yellow Butt community once about there was a Japanese air stewardess who was working at SQ like right until the pandemic hit, and she started to make vlogs about her life as an SQ girl, right? And I think the videos got taken down quite quickly for whatever reason. So maybe she was divulging too much about even just the how to prepare your hair as an SQ girl. That there are all these requirements that there's no loose hanging hair and things like that. I think those were seen as trade secrets of the SQ girl. So it's quite insane. It's almost like an Apple iPhone level of secrecy all these years. Like, you know, like you cannot leak like what you're taught as a Singapore airline stewardess, right? It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
There are specific things. I think the way you do your makeup, the way you do your hair. And I remember because when I was working at SIA, I used to be based at Airline House, which is the unsexy part of the airport. Like, you know, the airport is all the glitz and glamour, right?
Yeah.
The Airline House is like the back office of the airport. It's fucking huge. There's like thousands of employees. But I never knew that place existed. If you ever have been to Changi and you go down Changi Village and you have the ocean on one side, then you have the ferry that goes to Pulau Tekong for NSman, and in the distance you see this clump of big ass buildings, right?
Yeah.
That's fucking Airline House.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's damn far. But all the cabin crew were trained at SIA Training Center, which is Changi. And I remember when I had my internship there, the great thing about going to SIA Training Center is that because there's a lot of emphasis on training them to be courteous and, you know, like greeting all the passengers and all that, they actually carry out that same thing with anyone they see at SIA Training Center.
I see.
So here I am as a 21-year-old student coming back for internship, and I see all these people just walking past. Morning, sir. Morning, sir. I'm like, morning. Morning. Yeah, morning. Have a good day. Morning. Wow, I feel like a fucking champion, man.
Yeah, you feel well taken care of, right? Like
I feel well taken of. Then I go to Airline House. I'm like, oh, okay. Yep, this is reality. This is reality.
Yeah. But I mean, being well taken care of isn't necessarily correlated to how young or good looking you are, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
as in
correct.
some of my best experiences flying, as in terms of like the feeling like your needs are taken care of and everything, have happened with much more experienced, much I would say much older cabin crew as well.
Mm.
They know how to engage you and talk to you and help you in whenever you need certain things, like when I was traveling with my kid for the first time this earlier this year. It was, I think, the both legs of my trip, the going there and coming back. One was with one way was with much younger cabin crew. The other way back was with much more experienced, older cabin crew, and I felt much better taken care of. Like they empathized with my problems with flying with a kid and all that much more, and they were just much more understanding and reaching out to offer help where they could lah. Whereas I felt that the younger crew was more like, oh, okay, oh no, it's another dad with a young kid again, and yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, sorry, sir, I know you have to go back to your seat to eat your meal and all that, even though your kid is like crying and everything. Okay, fine, So yeah, I think I think the important thing is that people don't like I said, don't fetishize. Is that the verb? Fetishize.
Fetishize.
Yeah, don't fetishize the whole idea of like, oh, I want my cabin crew to be young and slim and everything, because that doesn't mean that you have a better flight experience.
Yeah, because like the demographic of passengers is also very wide, right?
Yeah.
And if you're stuck in a plane for
Wait,
like
say
9
very
to
white,
12 hours,
very wide or very white?
Wide.
Okay.
Yeah. Certain flights can be very wide, but generally the demographic very wide.
Okay.
So is natural. I mean, it makes sense to have a demographic of cabin crew that is also wide lah. Like what you said, like someone who is well versed with parents, like what it means to be a parent and all that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess this is a positive change, at least I guess. And I do recall when 2011, when the latest CEO took over, even within the span of 1 year plus, there were a few changes. I think a few years later, I heard that wearing khaki pants on Friday is okay.
Oh, really?
Because
wow.
for I remember when I went there, because I was bonded, right? So I knew I wasn't going to get unless I fuck up damn badly, then I'll get fired. So I had an earring from uni. And when I went back, I just wanted to see how long it would take for someone to tell me to take the earring off. It took 3 days.
Wow.
3 days. Literally someone told me, I think, you should take off your earring. Now I don't know. Now I really don't know, man.
But couldn't you pass the earring off as like a religious item or
religious,
something? Yeah.
Religious.
You need to have it on.
No, I think probably can. But then if word gets around that I'm super religious, then maybe all the religious employees will come in like, hey, join our daily religious sessions or something. Then yeah, it just felt like no lah. I just wanted to test it and it took 3 days. Got my answer.
I see.
Yeah lah.
Wow.
So
I think it's an interesting experiment to run lah, right? Whether on the ground people call you out for these kind of infections as well lah, right? Yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Maybe you should have worn a tank top or something like that lah, and then see how
2010 lah. 29. I think if I did that, even people on the street would be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah.
That's true.
29 was a bit long ago.
Yeah.
But I think it still feels. I think now there's maybe less emphasis on the SIA girl and that whole what you say, that fetish. I think it has died down over the years for good reason. But the kabaya is still an awesome uniform lah. And SIA service is still super good.
When you say awesome, what do you mean awesome? What do you mean by awesome?
It's very unique.
Yeah, it's quite iconic.
And I think that iconic, and even the design, the patterns, there is some sort of cultural relevance lah.
But does it need to be so fitting? That's my question.
Oh yeah lah. That one, it doesn't need to be like. It doesn't need to be
like the can design... it be a little baggier for their comfort or something? That's what I'm wondering lah. Yeah.
Because I know when I was at Scoot, we were even in the process of designing the cabin crew uniform, right? I think one of the things was generally the feedback was, can we please have something comfortable, something that is a bit more flexible, a bit more stretchable? Because I don't know how it feels to wear the kabaya. Even though you can get it at Chinatown, right? Those bootleg ones.
Bootleg ones, yeah, but they definitely aren't as well tailored as those that the stewardesses and all that wear, right?
Oh, yeah. Correct.
So
it doesn't need to be that tight. It doesn't need to be that tight.
Yeah.
The design is
Yeah.
The fabric design is nice.
Fabric design is
cut
nice.
and
then just the look of it is a very iconic look, right? But yeah, whether it needs to be that tight, that and all, is a question that we need to ask ourselves in 2022, right?
yeah, correct. So I don't know, like, I think whoever is internally within SIA designing that, I'm sure it has been an issue that has come up over the years more and more.
Yeah.
Maybe now they're even designing like maternity versions, you know?
Yeah. You know,
maternity versions.
Or maybe here's a suggestion for SQ, right? Let's nip this whole tightness of the kebaya, how curvy and everything it looks. Maybe what they need to do is to move with the times and create like a dry fit kebaya. Like something that like really, it fits you for a reason, right? To wick the sweat off your back and to make you comfortable. So like people can't complain about it being too tight already, because it's tight because it's the material. It's a high-tech material.
So it's like lycra like that.
Like
lycra.
Like spandex. Yeah.
But that one, you go on the plane, you'll lose your shit, man.
Yeah, you look like X-Men air stewardesses on the plane.
Yeah.
But that would help SQ get around the whole your uniform is trying too hard to be like sexy and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Oh, so you mean that's a workaround to make it spandex?
Yeah.
For guys and girls.
For guys,
spandex.
I mean, it's on the technology. You can't help it. It has to be that tight. We're not trying to be anti-woke or anything. It's just it has to be very tight. And if it happens to show the curves, whatever it happens to
Yeah. But for the guys also to wear that. Then when there's a crew like putting the bags in the overhead bag in, then his jewels are right next to your face.
I mean, okay when jewels at Changi Jewel. Yeah. That's the Changi Jewel experience.
Yeah, man, can put that idea in the list of all these companies to take on also.
Yeah.
Spandex crew uniforms for Singapore Airlines.
Yeah.
You can do kebaya, you can do the batik design, you can do any design you want.
Yeah.
Can meet your requirements, can cater to people who are pregnant, not pregnant,
But yeah, I mean, it's no joke also that the job is physical. I think, in the past month, we've had unruly passengers who assaulted cabin crew, right? Then we've had, I think there was cabin crew in I think Melbourne or something, who were assaulted on their way to just buy groceries outside the hotel. So, it's also no joke that, because of the nature of their jobs, that sometimes these situations do come up, and being able to, if they're wearing spandex or what, they might be able to defend themselves better and all these things.
And right. I mean, it's a good point you bring up, because like everything we're talking now is about the policy towards cabin crew. I think cabin crew, right, like fucking I salute them because being a service staff on the ground is really hard enough. Being service staff in the air, right, is fucking crazy. Like these past few weeks when I was traveling, there was one flight, I think I was standing just waiting to use the restroom, and a cabin crew came up to me and said, "Okay, sir, I'm sorry, the previous guy got sick where you stood. I cleaned it up, but just be careful." So here's a cabin crew.
What do you mean got sick where you stood?
Vomited.
Oh, where you were standing?
Vomited on the carpet. Yeah, vomited on the carpet.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, then I was thinking, and she said, "Don't worry, I cleaned it up. It should be fine, but just giving you a heads up." I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." Then I was thinking, here is someone who has to attend to all these customers who can be assholes, even based on my little experience.
Yeah.
You are having to deal with food, baggage, and now you have to clean puke. I'm like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
Because there's no one else to clean, what? You don't have cleaners on the plane.
Yeah,
the crew do it. If you poop all over the toilet, the crew does it. The crew takes care of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
crew
thing.
Fucking takes care of it.
It's on the surface it looks like a very glamorous job, but there are aspects of having to clean the toilet and clean up puke and babies puke and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. But yeah, man.
Tough job, man.
So
yeah,
but I was just surprised that it was first raised in the public 2010.
12 years, man.
When I was there.
12 years as stewardess, man. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that it's moving forward, but I think just maybe more transparency about that whole process and how they come up with these policies all would be helpful to them as a company as well, right?
Yeah. SIA 2022.
Yeah, but speaking of stewardesses having to be single to really enjoy the fruits of being a stewardess and everything, right? We're delving into a topic about why Singaporeans are staying single, right?
Yes.
And what is this topic about?
Basically, there's been a few articles that have been written recently following this survey by the National Population and Talent Division about marriage and parenthood. So it was done from February to June 2021, but some of the findings were things like 50% of the survey respondents, there were about 2,850 survey respondents, Singaporean singles. 50% of them are not actively dating, and 38% of them have never dated before. So there are other stats also, but this one article focused on like reasons why they are not dating, how they are meeting partners, and generally a lot more people are meeting via dating apps compared to 2016 and 2012 when the survey was last done as well.
Yeah.
So when you read that headline, right, what were your thoughts?
I think one thing I did go think of before jumping to analyzing the article was that this survey was done, I think, between February and June of 2021, right?
Yeah.
So we were thick in the middle of COVID and everything at that point in time. It means we were thick in the middle of a lot of measures to limit group interactions, social interactions, and also to some extent there will be, I think there's 100% there will be an effect on people being out there and meeting new people and dating and everything, right? So there is probably a slight that you need to give these numbers a bit of a COVID discount. When you say 50% of single people are not dating, it could be just a matter of they're just waiting it out in terms of COVID. It's just a very difficult period in COVID to be out there meeting people and going on dates and all that, right? Yeah. But that said, it still tells you that a significant proportion of people were not actively seeking partners or anything like that during it wasn't a short period. It was like almost like 2 years, right? This whole COVID thing. Yeah.
Well, actually, that's a good point that I had not thought of at this point. Like, if you were asking people last year, February to June, where I think the restrictions were still you wear masks everywhere, right?
Yeah, and no concerts and all that to talk about that, right?
Yeah, no concerts and gatherings of people are limited.
Yeah.
So that puts those numbers in perspective, Okay, so maybe the number of 38% of them haven't dated before.
Yeah.
I'm curious also, when they say date, right, they never put a definition what they mean by date.
Oh, okay. So what's your definition of a date?
So my definition is that you're going out, but you're not exclusive yet. I know that is not a definition that everybody holds. Like for you?
Going out meaning you go out and do stuff, right? That's like on a date, On a date. Yeah. I think there needs to be physical, like meeting up, then to be considered a date, right? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. But physical meeting up, let's say you're like getting frisky, hanky-panky, all that kind of stuff. Are you dating or are you relationship?
You are dating. Yeah, dating.
Yeah, you're dating.
Because it's not exclusive. There's no like, oh, you can't see other people at the point of time, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, but I've heard some people say that even they refer to their boyfriend, you're like, oh, I'm dating him. Then I'm like, I mean, technically, that is correct.
It is correct.
There's another layer.
Dating, I think dating in the Venn diagram it's the bigger circle, right? And then when you got boyfriend and exclusive, there's a smaller circle within the dating circle. Like you could be dating multiple people, but they're not boyfriends or girlfriends, right? Correct?
No, then okay. If no physical thing has happened yet, is it dating for you?
If no physical, I mean, as in
that means a kiss, don't tell me hug or something,
yeah, it can be dating as long as you. I don't mean physical as in getting physical. I mean like you meet up face to face, Yeah, and then you talk. And
really?
You have emotional. Hey, Harish, it's not all about physical. There's also emotional. There's an emotional aspect to dating, my friend.
Okay, I'm just saying you can meet up with like a friend of the opposite sex or the same sex multiple times, one-on-one.
Yeah.
Nothing physical happens. You have this emotional connection and all, but doesn't necessarily mean you're dating per se, right? Or does it?
It can be. Yeah, you can say.
It can be. It can be. Yeah. Yeah, it can be.
Because nobody goes on dates. Nobody goes on dates and like in the first or second date immediately, oh, I like you already, and this is officially a date. Nobody does that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, correct. I take that back. I guess where I was coming from was that then there's a gray line, lah, right? And I think that's where certain mis-expectations are. Because I won't deny, there have been people that I've gone out with a few times. I'm like, oh, got chance. Then I find out I was just friend zoned from like the second minute.
And then how many?
Yeah.
And then
always
you
comes,
carry on for years, right? If I remember correctly, a lot of these stories last.
What do you mean carry on for years?
That means like
hello.
this gray zone that you are in, you sort of like wading through it like for years, like almost like Sandra Bullock in Bird Box, like that. You're like just feeling your way through, and then without realizing that you're already thick in the friend zone already, lah. Yeah.
You mean like I have multiple Gantt charts, lah? I have multiple Gantt charts. For me, like still got potential, but their Gantt chart is like this guy friend zone struck off like crazy. Oh, he wants to meet up. Okay, just meet up, bro.
Like that. We're talking about that dating Venn diagram. You're already outside of the bigger dating circle.
But I think I'm inside.
Catching up with a brother circle, catching up with an old friend circle.
Yeah. So there were a few times, I won't fucking deny it, there were a few times that I thought I was like deep in the circle. I was like the center of the circle looking at the boundaries, or like I'm in. Then I found out I'm so far outside that is not even, I can't even see the circle.
Yeah,
I can't even see the fucking circle.
Interesting thought about why do you think there's such misreading of cues from both sides? For both you and the other person? Why?
So personally for me,
Yeah,
I think for me, my dating, I think I sucked as a dater early on.
What's that mean to be sucked as a dater?
That means now I'm fucking smooth, lah, dude.
No. Different. I'm not asking you about as a pickup artist, like where your skill. I'm asking you I think dating is a very different skill from being a pickup artist, lah, right?
Yeah. No, I think, okay, so being clear about your feelings, like if you like someone, don't hide it, You just be open, be honest, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yes.
But I think earlier on, I was like, okay, let's take this slow.
I think you're hitting a very good point that young people, I mean, even ourselves in our 20s and young people, because I see, on certain Reddit threads like Ask Singapore and all that, there's a lot of this, like, they don't know, they don't know what the situation is with someone that they are spending a lot of time with, right? And there's this very big fear that if you put yourself out there, if you're vulnerable, then you'll lose the person, or they might get turned off or what. And I think like what you said, like that's why a lot of people are always find themselves in this gray zone, and they don't dare or can't seem to get out of it, right? And as you get older, you just realize like time is too short, don't waste your time thinking whether yes or no. If you want it, you go for it. If not, then just move on, right?
But then the caveat there is also like, just because you need to be honest and show that you have a certain emotion, you don't go like, I want you to mother my kids.
And don't and give things time, right?
Yeah.
I think don't. So you can't just like, I don't like the way that you eat your mushrooms. So this is not working out for me.
So that's why I was wondering, the definition of dating here is so like they talk about the demographic, they talk about the age, but they never say dating.
Yeah,
especially in this day and age where you can be messaging for a long time before you actually meet up, and you might have a connection there already. And that's where also I think dating apps like kind of prevent the friend zone thing from happening, because if you're on a dating app, you swipe. It's really very clear. We are dating.
Yep.
We are dating.
But that's where that figure of that 38% have not even been on a date or haven't actually dated anyone. That kind of it's quite a shocking thing to me also, right? Because I never grew up. I never dated through the swiping era, the Tinder era, and everything. So I was like always under the impression that everyone is dating. Everyone is on one of these apps. One who's single is probably...
Oh, you mean this day and age?
Yeah, in this day and age. That it's so easy to go on a date now. Whereas last time it won't say even my time, but let's say 10 years ago, it was more like you kind of got to be out there meeting up with your friends, and then you all meet more people, and then you like all hang out together. Then it's just a much more cumbersome process to like find people to date, right? I'm quite surprised that this statistic is so high. It seems rather high that so many people have never dated or been on. Is that the term that they use? Never dated before? Never dated,
yeah. So assuming dating is like where it's something like the more traditional way. I mean, there's physical, there's emotional or something. Because I think maybe this doesn't encompass the people who have had like just purely physical stuff. I don't know. But actually, that number, I actually can totally see it. Maybe it's because I went through the dating apps era, and I found my fiance at a time when there were more ways to find companionship in some way. There's more ways to keep yourself busy. There's more ways to distract yourself. There's more ways to find, I don't know, an outlet to fulfill your need for relationships or something.
Yeah.
And that was 4 years ago. I think now, right? Honestly, like if you want to hook up, I don't know, maybe now it's like you want to hook up, there's a place you just go do your physical stuff and then you come back and you don't like it just feels like your needs have all been itemized now, right? Where everything can be checked off with a different app or something like that.
So you're
So it's
saying,
easier.
so you're saying that as much as there are all these dating apps out there, they're kind of like people don't even, that's why people don't even take the act of like finding a date and all that, or going out on a date and all that seriously, right? So for some people, it's like they could be on these apps, they could be swiping, they could even be meeting up and hooking up with people, but they're not necessarily dating these people. Like, that means taking them seriously and going out for dinner and having conversations and all that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And that, and also the fact that I remember, okay, when I was not dating, as you get older also, as your friends start get married, then Friday nights, you got nothing to do and it's a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
Then the worst is if I go to a wedding and everyone at the table is fucking in the love of their life and shit, then I just be like, fuck this shit, because there's a certain, okay, so apart from me being an asshole or something, at the core of it is this feeling that you're alone, right? And everyone around you is in a relationship. But now, if you're feeling alone, it's a lot easier to connect with people who feel that same sentiment as well. That's why you see the rise of incel groups and all. That's a whole other ballgame.
You mean connect with people of the same gender and all who are also feeling lonely like you lah.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not saying connect with people of the opposite sex or anything lah.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you are like trying to find a date and all, at the core of it is you maybe feel alone lah. Like, oh shit, all my friends and all like relationships and all. But now you can find other people going through that, and that can be a form of companionship lah. So it feels less alone.
Right.
It feels less alone.
So it's in some sense also, maybe people are finding that they don't necessarily need to date in order to fill that loneliness, that bucket lah, right? Okay.
Correct.
That's an interesting thought. Because I mean, sometimes because this year I've got a lot of friends turning 40 lah, right? Friends my year and everything. My turn hasn't come, but soon. But I have a lot of friends turning 40, and I think they're all coming to that. Those single ones are coming to some sort of realization that this is a point in their lives where the idea of settling down becomes urgent, right? And why they realize so is because they go on these dating apps and they find people there, and what they're finding is that they are meeting people who are much younger than them lah. Because usually, like, especially for guys, when you're on those dating apps, you're usually meeting much younger girls lah, right? And a friend of mine even told me that he was meeting girls who are one whole Chinese zodiac calendar cycle behind him. I mean, he's a dog, and he goes on a date with another dog who's, that means they're 12 full years younger, and they connect in that way. Oh, we are both dogs, that means we're both one calendar cycle behind each other. You are one calendar cycle behind me, and it shocked him to the core lah, right? So and then the next stage of that is that because of the age gap, there's a lot of different expectations of what a date should entail lah. And I think a 40-year-old versus a 28-year-old person, the idea of a fun time on a weekend is also very different, At 28, you are going for concerts, you are going to Zouk Out, you are going for Wonder Fruit or whatever that those things are in Thailand and all that, those music festivals. And you're planning like a hiking trip or a kayaking, you're going kayaking, and that's your idea of a date lah. Whereas when you're 40 years old and you're dating, the idea of a date is probably to like
Being at a hawker center or
at a
something.
hawker center, order your favorite food, bring it home, and then sit down with a book or watch Netflix or something, you know? Just a lot more.
Or the other
chill.
extreme lah.
Or the other extreme.
Or the other extreme, you fly off to
Yeah.
fucking Bangkok or something.
Or you maybe participate in Iron Man or something. You do an Iron Man. That's your idea of something interesting when you're 40, right? So yeah, it's just you know, for my friends in that phase, it's been it's not an easy transition, and as much as technology has made it easier, like you said, to plug the gaps of loneliness, there's still some fundamental feelings that this technology can't plug yet, right?
Yeah. And I mean, on the flip side, the darker side of dating apps is that it makes it, there's so much grass that seems greener. The grass is always fucking greener.
Yeah.
You know? And I think last time also there was this thing that, okay, you settle down. Now I can imagine that there's so much more emphasis on financial independence. Things are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So people are doing calculations on what is the cost of having a child, what is the cost of being in a relationship and all that.
Yeah.
Then it just feels like, oh shit. And now also I think there are more people renting places of their own. Last time, honestly, like living with your parents, I felt the motivation. I just want to get fucking married so I can get my own place and have my own space.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that. So now there's all these other factors that I think this is only going to get higher, man.
Yeah.
It's only going to get higher.
You talked about housing and all these things, that the decisions that come with getting married, but even just going on a date can be so expensive these days, right? You know, like,
yeah, man.
You go for an expensive dinner. You don't have to choose an expensive place, but I mean, like, even if you want to like go out for burgers or something, go to Shake Shack, at least a slightly more atas place than the McDonald's, right? I mean, that will set you back a good amount already, right? Just 2 burgers and 2 shakes or something, and after that you want to watch a movie, or you got to watch, you know, something on IMAX. You want to watch Avatar on IMAX or whatever. That's like good. I don't know what, $15, $20 a ticket. So yeah, that sets you back quite a bit. So the cost of going on dates these days is
it's high.
It's high, man. Like I would totally understand if someone decides why bother, you know, just you just stay at home and just chill out and hang out with friends, and or, you know, find other like-minded people on apps and all that. They just chill out at home and not spend all that money, right?
Yeah, or just find ways to hook up, because if you're living in your own place, you know, you just hook up, you know.
Yeah.
Because I also felt that like 4 years ago, I was going on dates and like, fuck, man, this is expensive. So then my approach was on dating apps. The moment I connect, I will throw out all the corniest jokes and just all the my profiles. So I showed pictures that were a bit more me.
Yeah.
So if they don't feel that, then early on, I know already.
Yeah. So basically, that's
so kudos to my fiance.
So that's your filter, like if they can stand
my filter.
Corny jokes
really
and the cheesy photos and all that. It means that they. Well, so you're saying that they have a kind of at least the base sense of humor about them, right?
Yeah.
So that you won't waste the $100 on going on a date with that, and then the first joke you crack, then they're like, oh, that's not funny, take it back, it's offensive, whatever.
Yeah, because that happened. That happened a few times.
Yeah.
I go for dinner, 15 minutes into the conversation, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So then my picture, I put like picture of me in a tree, picture of me like just doing stupid ass shit.
Yeah.
So kudos to my fiance.
Yeah. I mean, how come you didn't put like a photo of you
right.
like doing Excel spreadsheet or something like that, so that people know that, oh, wow, this one is a very he's very organized kind of guy, and then
organized spreadsheet is not the sexiest thing in any decade or century.
Okay, so there's still a positive spin to you taking a photo in a tree and all that. He's very outdoorsy and all that.
Because I mean, it's just like I think it was from a video we did, and I was like, okay, like this is part of my personality and all. You have to be okay with it, and if you're not, then better early you find out, early I find out.
I see. I think, okay.
I think I put something in the bio also, was like I'm something. It was something about toes or something. There was a joke lah. I can't even fucking remember, but it was something like, okay, if they can get this joke and all. Like something like I like hands or something, but toes better. Some fucking weird thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. So my fiance probably remembers that lah.
Yeah. Correct. But it's probably such a bad joke. You probably even blocked it out of your own head already.
Wiped from my memory.
Yeah.
Wiped from her memory also.
Yeah. I mean, just going back to the survey. They were asking the reasons
Yeah.
why the 38% out of those 50% of singles who are not seeing anyone, why are they not dating lah? They're asking. Oh, sorry, they just asked those who are not currently dating, and I think the biggest reason cited was limited social circle. I have a limited social circle, which I mean to some extent I think you can give a COVID discount for that lah, right? But then the next biggest thing was not having opportunities to meet potential partners. 57% of people saying that lah. Again, there's a COVID thing, but
COVID,
it's kind of ironic lah, right? Because when you're in a relationship and or even like me married and all that, it's actually the you actually feel like, oh, actually there's you don't not meeting partners, but even just meeting new people and friends and all that lah, right? It's actually you have so much less time and less energy and less mental capacity to go out and meet new friends and make new friends and meet new people lah. So why is it that singles are complaining that they don't have opportunities to meet potential partners?
Wow. I mean, just okay, if I would just go back a few years, for me, I think for me, the difficulty was, because I was really like in my mid-30s, having the meet a friend through a friend kind of died out lah. Everyone was kind of like, a lot of people were settled already. So that was one thing that I felt. But now, I mean, because they did interview people from 21 all the way to, I think, 45 or something.
Right. Yeah.
So it's across the range. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the COVID discount.
Maybe there's a COVID discount.
Or maybe...
But I also do feel that there is even just the way that line is questioned, not having many opportunities to meet potential partners, that kind of like, you're almost closing off how the ways in which you will meet potential partners lah, right? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because if you're going in with a mindset that, oh, I need to have opportunities to meet potential partners, that's when it's probably then you'll find it really hard to meet people, because it sounds like you are almost like not thinking that, you know, like that any, you know, at any time or point you could just happen to bump into people lah, right? You could happen to bump into someone interesting, whether even at the work
you
conference
grew up
or
in
something.
Singapore lah. That one all ang moh one lah. You think what, return tray at HDB Center, then spill a bit of soup, then you're like, oh shit, and your eyes meet and all, is it?
Yeah, serendipity. Yeah, you know, that kind of like, yeah, you happen to share you argue with someone because they put a tissue, old tissue paper to choke the seat. Then turns out that person is the love of your life. Yeah. No, but I mean, I don't know. There's something about the idea that these things actually happen when you are not looking for them, right?
There's almost like the time and place. Okay, I am looking for a date now.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 p.m. finish. Okay, I'm not looking anymore. I'm not looking anymore.
I don't want to talk to anybody. No eye contact. Yeah, I'm not going to like make small talk or try to make small talk with anybody, because I'm not looking for it right now. You know. Whereas the I think part of it is just being open-minded to you know, you meet people and you never know, you ask a question or two about them, you know, and you never know where that question what that question might lead to lah, right? Because I think it's very easy to if I recall also, like when I was in that phase as well, it was very easy to be like, oh, it's so I can't be bothered to talk to people because I look at them, this is not my type really, that kind of thing, you know. It's very easy to fall into that trap, as opposed to like just being open to, okay, even if we're not my type or what, we can all just hang out and just be friends, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just for those who are looking and finding not having many opportunities to meet potential partners, just say don't focus too much on those having opportunities. Just focus on, you know, growing yourself and having a good time lah.
Yeah. But I will say, like, sometimes it's when you are looking but not finding, which I experienced last time, it's also, it's a weird state. It's a weird state.
I'm sure.
And I think now with social media, it just makes everything worse. I really think it makes everything worse. You have this comparison thing that comes up. That's why the survey actually is quite interesting, not even just for dating, because they had some questions that I think even if you're married, it's worth, I don't know, it's interesting questions like, what would be your priority after getting married, your career or raising a family, your ideal actual number of children, reasons to not have children, what will determine whether or not you have a child, because that kicks up discussions around like the whole cost of having a child and all that lah. And yeah, you look at these questions like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting questions.
But yeah.
Yes.
So there's a copy of the PDF and there's a summary report on population.gov.sg. We will put those links in the show notes.
Yeah. And if you have any insight or thoughts about, being a single person and why you're not choosing to date or why you're not dating anyone, do let us know in the subreddit as well, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of which,
back to the one Shiok Comment.
Yes, one Shiok Comment. What is? I mean, we've had a good month lah. What is your one Shiok Comment of the month?
I mean, my one Shiok Comment was just seeing people message, hey guys, it's been a dry 3 weeks. I think today also someone said like, oh, it's been a month and all that. It does feel like even for me, like, okay, there's this community that we have built that really feels like a family almost lah. So nothing in particular, but just getting that sentiment, which I really appreciate. And even people who know me, they've messaged me like, oh, yo man, one person in particular who says he listens to us while he showers. To that person listening, you know who you are, man.
Yeah.
And now I'm glad to accompany you on your showers again lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I have a specific. I think there's the post where people did screenshots, a social media post that my wife made about everything that's been happening in the past month, and it's just I mean, a lot of the comments were very heartfelt and very sincere about sharing their emotions and as well. So I think one of the things that I've realized is that speaking to other people who have been through this experience as well, is that especially for the dads, the dads in this experience, it's very hard to. There's this societal expectation for you to stay strong, take care of the mother, because you haven't gone through the physical aspect of things as well, and as a result, there's also much fewer resources that dads can have for just reaching out to people and telling a story or hearing their stories and all, you see. So for me, like the podcasts were an important resource, and in I think along in the last 2 years, people have told us that our podcast also has been a very strong source of support for them through various periods of their life lah, and some of them very challenging periods of their life of loneliness, of spending time with family and all. So yeah, it's just very heartening to know that that we've also meant this, like we've also been a small ray of light for people, as podcasts were a small ray of light for me during this difficult period as well. And I think everyone who sent out messages, I would say thanks a lot for the thoughts, and it's a tough period, but we'll all get through it together.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yes,
Awesome.
I mean,
cool.
It never. I mean, all this, whether it's bad news or what, it doesn't stop us from having one Shiok things in our lives. We'll always have one Shiok thing. And what is your one Shiok thing this time?
My one Shiok. Oh shit! We do just okay. You wanna go first? My one.
Yeah.
God damn it! My tab.
Is it? I think my one Shiok thing. One of the shows, I think I've spoken about it before, but that was before it came out, and now the show is out on Netflix. It's the Sandman. It's the live action adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Sandman series. So the comic book was great. I never imagined that it could actually become a TV series, like, because I remember, because it's such a fantastical world, it's so difficult to put this in the film. But in this day and age of Marvel Avengers and MCU and all that, why can't it be done in film now? And I watched it and I realized why I thought it couldn't be. Is because it was dealing with very adult themes in the series, like very dark, very adult themes in the series. But I believe that they've done it very well with this series, this Netflix
Oh, really?
series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
That's awesome.
I'm reminded again of how thought-provoking and interesting the whole Sandman series is. And there's one particular episode that really stands out to everyone who has watched the series. One particular episode that especially dark, especially like, wow, I can't believe they managed to pull this off and all. So yeah, do give the show a try. Even if you haven't read the comic books, I think you'll find something in it that's very interesting. And I'm also trying to canvas for support because the show has not been confirmed for season 2, as much as critics love it and everything. Apparently, apparently Netflix, supposedly on the word on the street is that Netflix is still thinking about it because the viewing data people aren't binge watching the show at one go. People are watching like an episode and then sitting there ruminating and thinking about it because the themes are very dark and deep and adult and everything, you see. So people are savoring the show over a longer period, and that's giving Netflix a bit of pause about whether they should commission season 2 which I think would be a big loss to everyone if they don't continue season 2, because the way they've chosen to do it, I think has been pretty exceptional. So yeah, if you are looking for something good to watch and you have some time on your hands, do try Sandman and do tell others about it as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, now I think I saw a trailer and it looks fucking awesome. I haven't read the graphic novel though. You read it, right?
Yes. I finished all the way through when I was in the army, and I just very distinctly remember telling myself last time that this cannot be done as a show or movie or anything, because it's just too dark. It's too everything lah. And now that it's been done, I'm like, okay, I understand now like how and why it can be done. Yeah.
Actually, that makes me want to read it first, just to see like, wow, feels like it'll be an exciting read lah. Knowing, oh shit, they actually managed to pull this off to a certain extent.
It will be, but I would still say, you can enjoy both.
Just watch it first.
Yeah, both mediums. I think both they will inspire each other lah. As in, you'll be inspired to read the books if you watch the show first, and vice versa. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But yes,
Alright,
what is your one Shiok thing?
Yeah, my one Shiok thing is shorter form content. There's this musician I came across on Instagram called Haley Knox, and she is like a female version of Mark Rebier in the sense that she also does looping.
Okay.
Her voice is amazing, but she has this goofy demeanor about her and fun demeanor, which is just awesome to watch lah. So on Instagram, she just does this video. She plays like multiple instruments as well. And yeah, I think she is the kind you watch like, oh, okay, that was a nice perk me up, just to watch someone who's having the great time doing something they're fucking good at lah.
Yeah.
Haley Knox music.
Haley Knox.
Yeah,
she's still cool. Quite not like out of this world. It's like I'm seeing her on Instagram. She's like about 150,000 followers, but
yeah, correct.
Wow, so you were...
And also she's followed by Mark Rebier, so they connected already lah.
I see. So you can... This is the kind of like... I listen to them first, that kind of thing that you can boast about next time.
I guess so lah. Yeah.
Yeah, 100 over 1,000 is still okay. Yeah. Still cool.
Yeah, she and cool. Yeah, still cool. So yeah, check her out.
That's cool.
Awesome,
right.
Man.
Back to the grind.
Cool.
Back to it again.
Back to the grind.
Yeah.
And we'll be back middle of this week lah.
Yeah. All right. Cool, man.
All right. Awesome. Good to have you back, Terrence.
Yes. And
cool,
let's keep doing this.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Adios, guys.